So, what inspired you to do this next Bangalore Choir album? You obviously, it had been a few years, but you obviously had a lot of songs to put on this record. And I thought you did put out that 3 CD box set that had all the studio albums, where you had some spoken word stuff, and I think there was the edition that had like the signed cards and things like that. But I've always thought that this was like the bread and butter band for yourself. You know, when
Well,
I, you know,
excuse me. Giles Lavery, I give credit to for that multi-pack thing. That was his brainchild, which I thought was really intelligent. That thing sold like crazy. I got a bunch for myself and doing the merch. They were gone. I mean, it was like, oh, I get them all in one. I'll give Giles. Giles is really good at reinvention. He knows what it was really good then. It's still really good now.
mhm.
I actually, when I decided to do this, called him and told him, he's like, thank the Lord, this is great, but it has to be on target, Dave. I go, I know. So try to put yourself back to 1991 in your brain. I forget what I had for breakfast yesterday. So I sat and studied on target pretty intently, going, what was I thinking? I don't remember. I was hungry. I was doing this. I was out to prove to the world that accept would not destroy my life, that I can do this on my own. So I lived with it for a couple of days, and then I called my weapon of mass production, which I call him Andy Susamil, who's been my
Mhm.
partner in writing for years, and a dear brother to me, and told him of my vision. And to be honest, the first 4 or 5 attempts, it just wasn't there. Yeah, I
Yeah.
said, Andy, we got to listen to Slipping Away. We got to listen to Angel in Black. We got to get right now. And actually, the first song that he sent me as a riff that finally clicked was Driver's Seat. I said, there it is. There's my new shit slipping away. So I think I wrote the lyric in about 15, 30 minutes. Ran down to my local studio, tracked it. Then I went back the next day and re-sang it, and it was done. I said, there we are. And then it's weird because when him and I get on a roll, it starts falling out of the sky. And we wrote, there's 16 on the album. I think there was a total of 26 songs that we wrote together, and I wrote with other people in about 6 weeks. It was nuts. I was
That's
so manic. I mean, I could not get away from my little workstation here,
first
which
of all,
drives my wife
yeah.
insane.
Well, first of all, that's a lot of songs. I mean, there's 16 tracks on this record.
Yeah, and that kind of scared me. I was like, I've read one review last night from Norway. When they saw, Act One and Act Two. Oh God, I've got to review this. But they were actually pretty cool about it, saying this record is strong through and through.
Hmm.
They criticized the length, but that was another brainchild of Giles because we had so many songs. What are we going to do? And he said, let's do Act One, Act Two, kind of assignment thing, a meatloaf thing, a concept thing. But the songs have to kind of work together like a story,
Hmm.
which is, to me, I don't even know what's going on in my head, to be honest, until a song's finished and I go, oh, it does kind of go with that next song. You don't really, I don't write novels, so I'm not like Stephen King, and writing trilogies or anything. I just write songs. So I got lucky. And I owe a lot of it to a lot of other people. It's not just me. I mean, I needed that backup to get where I am on this record.
Right. So I will tell you, the length of the album does not matter to me if the songs are all good.
Thank you.
I'm just going to flat out tell you that. It doesn't matter. Doesn't matter who the band is. Right. I mean, I remember there was an album Dream Theater put out that was
Yep.
pretty long. It was pretty long. It was called um, it was pretty long, and the 6 Degrees of Inner Turbulence, 2 CDs.
Mm-hmm.
I love that album, and it
Mm-hmm.
didn't really matter to me how many CDs or how much, if it was a double album or not. Do I like the whole thing or not? When bands do double albums, then okay, I can name bands that in the past, in my opinion, they put a double record out, say half the songs are good. They probably should have left half of them off and done one CD. And
Mm-hmm.
there's cases where you have 16 songs on here. And the thing that's interesting about this album, and the reason I bring that up, is you have 16 songs on here on one CD. And the songwriting formula, and you know this, you've been in the industry, there's always, there's always that formula that they always talk about of what makes a great track. And a lot of people that are songwriters will say that length of that song, somewhere between 3.5 to 4.5 minutes. And most of the songs on here are like that. And you've done that essentially here, with a couple exceptions, but I think I don't see a problem with the length, because if the songs are all good, which they are, why does the length of the album matter? That's just
the guy that started this whole madness was Prince. I think that one CD had 18 tracks on it, and they were like 2.5 minutes. I mean,
yeah,
but the guy was a friggin' genius and had so much going on in his head that he had to put it on one record because it all made sense. But you're right. I mean, the Dream Theater thing, a lot of people criticize that weren't Dream Theater fans, but the people that got it really got it, and they still listen to it.
Yeah,
and they can actually tour that whole record, just play that record.
Yeah.
So that wasn't my intention, but really, I mean, leading off of what you said, when it starts coming, for me, it's a manic kind of thing. I got something to say, and I force myself as a songwriter to do something productive every day, whether it be rehearsing here alone or at band rehearsal, or putting my pen to paper and just putting it in a pile. It's just a bunch of crazy words that this might work somewhere. And I went through a lot of that stuff and said, wow, that might work. And just start singing along with the riff and go, yep, that works. And I didn't AI anything. I just said, because like we talked earlier, you're going to have the teacher thing going. But I got a lot of friends now that are just saying, write me a song in this key about this title and blah, blah, blah. And they write this killer song, and I'll call them and say, man, that's great. And they go, yeah, thanks to AI. I'm not going to do that. So I try to be real as much as possible. I don't know, I'm babbling now.
No, it's fine. I think that if you were to leave any of these tracks off, you write another album, those songs are probably going to be pretty good, but they may not fit what you have in that next record. Then you have to think to yourself, then what do I do? Right?
Yeah, well, that's the kind of the beauty of what I've got in surplus. I mean, with the way I would think, even though I have like 8 or 9, maybe 10 laying around, they would be essentially act 3 and 4. If I proceed with this, the way this thing is going, it's likely that some of those will make it. Maybe not.
Right.
Maybe I'll have a fresh set of ideas, which is even better. I've got songs from 40 years ago that I never recorded.
Hey, it's Tony here from the Metal Command Show. I want to thank you for watching this portion of the program. Since 1998, I have hosted the show, which started off as a radio program and is now into the podcast format. So I want to thank you for watching and or listening. And if you want to support the program, hit the subscribe button, hit that little bell to be notified anytime I do post any content. A lot of you have been supporting the show and really, really helping this show grow, and I cannot do it without all of you. So with that said, thanks for watching. Stay metal.